Oh yeah, it's happening right now. Down. Oh, are you here?
I'm here.
Sweet! Welcome aboard, Britt. Okay, so I'm gonna pop a little intro, Mr. Britt. So please wait like 5 seconds. I'll pop a little intro, and then everybody else will see your beautiful face. All right?
Sounds good, man.
Sweet. Awesome people I'd like to be! Sweet! Please welcome Mr. Britt Briscoe. I hope I pronounced this right. The beautiful mind behind Default Dan. So Mr. Britt here, awesome people I'd like to be. Please present yourself, present your game, present your company. Go ahead, go nuts, you're in the spotlight.
Alright, man. So my name is Britt Briscoe. You definitely got that right. I am part of Kikiwik Games. And our first and only game at the moment is Default Dan. So Default Dan is something we've been working on for a little bit, but it's essentially a anti-Mario.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to rethink every way you've ever played platforming games.
Yeah, I really liked it actually. We were neighbors at MomoCon recently, and it was super funny to see like people taking the controllers. Like, why am I dying all the time? Like, and then you know, once they understand the thing, it was like, oh, okay. Now it's like I have to avoid all the coins. I have to avoid everything that looks good for me. And I was actually impressed by how deep you went into that that theme. I mean, like if you fall into a hole, you appear on top. If you jump on spikes, you like bounce back and stuff like that. I was very impressed on the amount of work into that, man.
No, we appreciate it, man. You know, when we started, it came out of a game jam, just like a lot of your games, like Shapes and Beats, and a lot of them that we see at these indie showcases. But essentially, when we started, we just wanted to take like 1 or 2 levels, flip some stuff around, see how it works. But you know, by taking to events, getting a lot of good feedback, we just kind of kept thinking of more and more mechanics that we've been trained to play, and just figuring out what's a good way of flipping it, not just flipping it just to flip it kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, sweet, man. I mean, totally, really enjoyed it. How big is your team? Are you alone or?
Our team's pretty small. When we started the jam, we had about 6 people on the team, but really after the jam, it's really just myself and another guy named Matt Gold. And Matt Gold's been the greatest programmer. He's been programming everything by himself. And I've been just kind of helping along the way with design ideas, and then also taking the game out to all the events and stuff.
Okay. And what was the engine used? I mean, you use Game Maker, Unity, Flash?
We actually use Game Maker for this. Most of our games in the jams, we start with Game Maker. Just like when I was talking with you guys use Flash a lot because it's quick and easy.
Yeah, but it's dead now. Everybody's saying it's dead.
No, it's not dead. But I mean, it's definitely one of those, like, Game Maker is probably not the best if you're looking to go for, the big AAA studio kind of stuff, but it definitely helps when you're making the quick, easy stuff. Yeah. So right now, you take it from there, just like you do with Flash, try to put it in Unity and make it work. So.
Yeah. Well, even though, I mean, if you are starting as an indie, you should not aim for any AAA title. Like, you should start small. Like, try to make Pong first. try that, and then you make like your biggest game. So, I mean, how was it hard to learn Game Maker? I think it was super easy, right?
Yeah, it's fairly easy. The good thing about it is its own language, but it's very understandable. If you know JavaScript, some Flash stuff. Okay. I mean, if you know C#, but really it's more of a JavaScript based kind of language.
Okay, sweet. So how long have you been making games? You said that it's your first game, like, professionally, I think.
Yeah. So actually, a bunch of us has been playing around, but about 3 years ago, our college had the first game jam, Global Game Jam, joined in there, which is Southern Poly. Over here in Georgia, and so we went there, we all met up at the event, just kind of started talking. We all had a different kind of skill set and just started building games together. So for the past 3 years, we've done a lot of small little things, for the jams and things like that. And then for the past year, we've kind of just been messing around with Default Dan, because none of us are actually real programmers, quote unquote. We just kind of all do it in our free time as a hobby and for fun.
I like that, real programmer, like as They have to be spawned from somewhere or something. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna go. Please, the audience, please, if you have a question for Mr. Britt over here, just like go with Lash, just like say Lash whatever. So it's gonna be on red highlight, so I can read it. Okay. So I'm gonna start right with a question right now. Actually, we got Monkeyman1520 at the end. Britt, how did you get Game Grumps to play your game? With a lot of question marks and exclamation marks.
So we get this question all the time because we actually have been fortunate enough to get a lot of the guys on YouTube to play the game.
Yeah.
And to be honest, we went to MagFest, which is over in DC. It happens every year around January, February. And the Game Grumps are kind of like a staple group that goes there.
Okay.
And so the good thing about MagFest is it's 24/7. It does not end like most conventions.
Okay.
Which means the other bad side of that is it's always good to be at your booth at like 4 in the morning. So what ends up happening is a lot of these guys, they come around to the indie section 4 or 5 in the morning. That way everybody's already passed out from the night before, and they play some of the games. And we were lucky enough to get Ross to walk by. We caught his attention, got him to play it, and he just fell in love with it right then.
Nice. Okay, so you said you were there at 4 a.m. in the morning to get the attention. You're a really trooper, man.
Yeah, I think I don't know how awake I was at 4:30 in the morning, but I was definitely posted up in the booth.
So how long it is MagFest, by the way? Is it 3 days, right?
MagFest is 4 days. It usually starts on like a Thursday to a Sunday or a Friday to a Monday. I think this year it's Friday to Monday, and it's mid-February, I believe.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking into that, actually. I met Family Joe 7X on the past MomoCon, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, like, you should go to MagFest. People's going to eat you alive with your game. You're going to love that. I mean, the love over there is pretty awesome. So, yeah, and you said that Game Grumps is over there as well. So, okay, yeah. So, MagFest is about it's music and games, right? Okay, so there's a bunch of YouTubers over there. All right, okay, sweet. Ah, nice. Okay, how about another question? Britt, how do you get... Hang on. I'm going to read it first because I don't want, like... if it's a... What's the hardest thing to code in your game? By Mr. Regs.
So, luckily, again, GameMaker's pretty easy. I think the hardest thing to code really was just to make the jump and the run feel right. We play a lot of old school games, Mario and all of that, and through the years, there's been this underlying mechanic that you can actually jump about a half second after you get off of a ledge, just kind of help you out. And I think that was the one thing, really nailing that down to make it feel more like a Mario game was pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane the amount of little tweak and cheat that you have to put in code to make it feels right, Just like you said, you don't even touch the ground, but you still have to be able to jump because it feels right. It feels right in the hand. But it doesn't make any sense, But it's amazing the amount of. So I think that, for example, in a tool like GameMaker, where it's probably have like this jump mechanic and you drag and drop over there, for example, if you want to cheat it, it might be a little bit harder. So I think that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Nice. Okay, we got John CL0. Britt, how does getting a large YouTube channel playing your game affect publicity and profits? Was there any noticeable change in sales and recognition?
So I definitely think it does. And I would say not only just the size of the YouTube channel, but really their followers. So I'll take the example of like we had PewDiePie play our game during our Kickstarter. He got 9 million plus views, something like that.
During the Kickstarter?
Yeah, during the Kickstarter.
Nice.
And you would think that would, relate to a big spike or influx in donations. But what was funny was actually when the Game Grumps played it, I think we had about a week left in our Kickstarter. And that one actually drove probably 10 grand in one day compared to what we were getting from Pewdie. So.
Oh, okay. So it really depends on the audience then.
Right.
Oh, okay. Oh, didn't know that. Sweet. Okay, how about another question here? Britt, now you've had a taste of success with Default Dan. Have you got any other sweet projects in the pipeline we should be psyched for?
So we have a lot of little ideas kind of laying around. We've picked them up, we've played around with it, then we've kind of put it back down. What we're kind of looking to do is we're going to be at Dragon Con, and we're looking at going to too many games, and there's one other one I can't remember off the top of my head in a couple months. And so I think we're going to take a couple of those ideas with us, let some people test it out, play it out, see what they say, and then kind of go from there. So there's nothing official, just a lot of little things we've put together and just trying to figure out which one.
Okay, so you like to prototype, like try some stuff and just like see if people or excited about that little thing, and then you grew up for that, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best way actually. You know, you make like 10 little game, and like you see what's the best, like what's the one who catch the most attention, and then you grow from that. I believe that's a good plan actually. Yeah, I believe so. SilverX2624 is asking: Are there any other? Hang on. Are there any other anti games that were your inspiration for the game?
So definitely, there's tons of games. You know, the base of it was Mario, but we've got some influences from Sonic in there. We've got some Donkey Kong. What's funny is some of the weekends we get together. I got the man cave set up with all the different retro systems, and we just sit down here. We play some 64, some NES, some Sega. Throw in the classic games that we've played, and we've kind of tried to pick some of those pieces into the game. We had a lot more that we wanted to put in there, so who knows? Maybe if it comes down to having a second one, Default Dan 2 or something like that, we can throw some more of those games in there.
Okay, sweet. All right, we got one more question. I believe the last question. Please, guys, if you have any question, feel free to ask it up in the chat. We have Inf Game Dev asking, how much advertising and marketing did you do before the Kickstarter? Did you talk about your game like before the Kickstarter?
So we did. We stalked some people on Twitter, tried to find some different channels that do interviews with indies, things like that. Prior to the Kickstarter, we went to Too Many Games, which is out of Oaks, Pennsylvania, and then we tried to go to, let's say, we went to MomoCon before the Kickstarter a couple years ago, just kind of trying to get it out there. But really, it was a lot of word of mouth, guerrilla marketing, things like that. You know, to me, trying to pay Facebook or something like that to get an ad up just didn't seem right. So we just wanted to take it out there to the people and talk to a lot of people, and then from there we just kind of help that push the Kickstarter.
Yeah, and you're pretty good at it actually, because I mean, everybody that was like coming at your booth say, "Hey, I know that game is Default Dan." I was like, "How do you know? He's not even at the booth." You were like going around the MomoCon and everything, meeting people and everything. You have any advice on that? Actually, I mean, I would crave for advice on this because I really suck at it, and I have to bow on you.
So I mean, some of the biggest advice I would say is if you go to an event, you take it there, make sure you're reading through the booklet of all the different speakers. Try to do some research on those channels that are going to be there. I think our very first event actually was Escapist Expo, which is now not going on, but it used to be out of Durham, North Carolina, and one of the big ones on there was Smosh. And so I made sure that, you know, and I watched Smosh already, but making sure that I knew everybody that was going to be there, some time, so, you know, going to their signings, talking to them a little bit, you know, mentioning, hey, I got a game if you want to come check it out, things like that, tweeting them. And when you do that, you kind of set yourself up for some success, because you know that you know where they're going to be, you can track them down. Don't be too creepy about it, but you can definitely just say, hey man, I got a game over here in the indie game, I think you'd like it, you should check it out.
Okay. So just like you have to like half of the time be at your booth, or at least like have somebody to watch your booth, and also just like go around and talk to other people then.
Yeah, I mean, I think y'all did a little bit better than us with MomoCon. Y'all had at least 2 people there. I was soloing it, so I wasn't at the booth as much as I would have liked to be, but definitely once you're there, bring somebody with you so you can leave them at the booth while you go track people down.
Yeah, that's good advice, because for I think we went to other PAXs and we were always like at our booth and not moving around and everything, you know, and we got some media coverage, but that's it. And when we saw you, it was like, okay, we're doing something wrong. So that's when I left Mike, my partner, at the booth. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go around, meet some people and everything. So yeah, I think it's really important for that, to, you know, try to get more contacts. All right, how about we check back at the chat? Last you missed my question. Where is it? I need a tools for the question, by the way. I am working on that. Okay, no, I already said that in Envious. Whoa. Okay. Somebody's asking, what's it like writing code with a second person? So, like, if you are working 2 coders in the same project, how do you handle like working together? So let's expand that a little bit, like how it is to work as a team on the same project as a 6-people project.
So it's always one of those things that working in a team can come with its difficulties, with the fact that everybody has their own ideas. But I think the greatest thing about working with a team is you can throw those ideas out, and what's good is if you have a good team, somebody's going to tell you, hey man, that idea is not
It's
good.
bad. Okay.
And as long as you're open about that, I think it works really well. And then you figure out what are each person's strengths and weaknesses. You might have somebody who's better at enemy AI, so you kind of have them take that piece of code, whereas you have somebody else that's better at just movement or something like that. So as long as you're dividing it up between the team to your strengths, it's always a fun time.
Do you name any director for the game, for example, or just like somebody who is like, for example, if it becomes chaotic and like 6% really like, no, it's my idea, I want it. You have like somebody who's like, okay, no, we're gonna go with that one. Do you have that?
Yeah, I mean, what's kind of good is my normal day job. I'm a Microsoft consultant, and I'm also a project manager. So I kind of usually fill that role a lot when we're going in there. Even if it's not necessarily saying this is what we're going to do, it's trying to get all the ideas together and really present them and get everybody working together. And you know, a lot of the teams around here that we work around with, like there's another group we've been going to some shows with, Smashatron Studios, and they have the same thing. They got a guy who's a project manager, and he kind of just helps everybody stay on track. And you know, you don't have the bad ideas making it into the game. So.
Yeah, I think it's really. I mean, we work the same way at Berserk because the very first game we did was super chaotic. Like we were only 3 guys, but the thing is, we were working like in the game industry first, and we were feeling super free, you know, because we just quit our job and like let's start indie. So we all had different ideas for a game, you know. So it became very super chaotic, and like people were talking loud and everything. So we decided, okay, we're gonna name one director, and you know he's gonna listen to other people's ideas, of course. But if like there's a big if there's a big debate and everything, he's gonna be like, okay, we'll go with that direction, you know. Because after making a couple of games, we saw that most of the time, even like. Somebody has like an idea A and the other one has the idea B. Both are good ideas, but at some point you have to follow like a path and just stick to that path, you know. So naming director was good for us.
Yeah, and you know that goes for not just coding but even art. You know, if you get 2 or 3 different artists, everybody has their own style. So kind of having that one person to make sure everybody stays on the same style for the game is really helpful as well.
Totally agree. Yeah. Okay, random question. A shameless camel. How does he manage to keep his beard so nice? That thing is like heaven.
You know, it just grows this way, man. This is all natural, and it's you know, the wife loves it, so it stays.
There you go. Okay, well, let's get one last question, Britt, and then I believe you have some keys to give away, right? For different
we got some keys.
Nice. All right. So right after the interview, I'm gonna pop your trailer. You sent me the trailer already, so I'm gonna pop your trailer again, and I'll do a couple of giveaways. How many keys do you have?
We can do 3 keys.
Sweet. All right. So we're gonna do the giveaways right after the trailer, right after the interview, right after that question. What is your best advice on making a living out of a creative career?
Oh man, so making a living, I mean, you just have to do it. You have to jump in.
Just do it. Yes.
And you know, I mean, the thing is just like you mentioned before, you're not going to make the next WoW in your first game, but if you just make a lot of different games and just try to get it out there, you can make a living out of it. There's tons of teams that do it, but you just can't put all your eggs in one basket. So just make lots of little things, put it out there, get your name out there, and then just kind of go from there.
Totally agree. I mean, I think Professor Shy Guy has said exactly the same thing, actually. Just try do stuff, create content, put it up online, because you cannot say, like, I'm a musician if you don't put anything online, if you don't create music. You cannot say that. So it's the same thing with game developers, you know? You cannot say I'm a game developer if you haven't made any game online, you know? And if you made prototypes, that doesn't count. Release something. Do something that's, you know... So, yeah, I do agree with that. All right, man. I want to close the interview. We're going to do a giveaway. We're going to watch the trailer for Default Dan. Please, Britt, feel free to stick in the chat and spam the chat with all your stuff, your Twitter account, your Facebook, your trailers, all the cool stuff, your website, whatever. Just feel free to spam the chat. You're in the spotlight right now. So thank you very much for being on the interview, man. We're going to do the giveaway right after this. So.
Thank you, man.
Thanks a lot, man. See you around.
All right.